Hi, welcome to English Unlock the Oral Mastery. Think of this as your daily dose of inspiration, where learning English feels like a breeze and improving your life feels like home.
It is so great to be here with you for another session. We have a really special deep dive planned for you today.
Yeah, we do. And we are focusing on a very specific hurdle today. It is a
Mhm.
hurdle that I think almost every single adult English learner faces at some point.
Oh, absolutely. It is that heavy, exhausting process of translating in your head before you speak.
Yes,
Self-learn.
exactly.
Yeah.
I remember feeling this exact frustration when I first started learning another language. You want to speak, but your brain is just working so hard.
Right, because that mental translation process it is a universal experience. And it is important to understand what is actually happening in your mind when you do this.
Hmm.
Because when someone asks you a question in English, your brain is doing triple the work. First, you hear the English and you translate it back into your native language just to understand it.
Right, that is step one.
Exactly. Then step two, you formulate your answer in your native language. And finally, step three, you translate that answer back into English before you even open your mouth to speak.
I know that cognitive traffic jam so well.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember sitting at a very important business meeting a few years ago, and a colleague asked me a simple question about a project timeline.
Oh, I can guess what happened.
Yeah, I knew the answer, but instead of just speaking, my brain just paused. I built the entire sentence in my native language first,
Right.
and then I tried to find the perfect English words for project timeline and, delivery date. And by the time I finally opened my mouth to speak,
The conversation had already moved to the next topic.
exactly, it completely moved on. I felt so frustrated.
Well, that is a perfect example of why this process is so exhausting. By the time you finish translating in your head, the moment has passed.
It takes an incredible amount of mental energy to translate every single word like that.
It does, and it creates anxiety. And that anxiety makes you freeze up even more.
So if the problem is this three-step translation process, the mission for our session today is to eliminate those extra steps.
Yes. We want to help you train your brain to think directly in English. We want to turn that heavy three-step process into a simple one-step process.
Think of it as a new superpower, because thinking directly in English is the absolute key to speaking faster and feeling more relaxed.
Yes, when you do not translate, the language just flows naturally. So the big question is, how do we start building this new habit?
Yep, we have to start small, very small.
Yeah.
I mean, we cannot expect to suddenly think in complex, long paragraphs right away.
No, definitely not. And that brings us to our first major strategy. Tip number one is to think in tiny sentences.
Tiny sentences.
Right. Because when we tell a learner to think in English, they often panic. They assume they need to narrate a complicated book in their head.
Yeah, they try to be too perfect.
Exactly. But the brain builds new connections best with simple, repeated actions. We mean very short, very practical sentences.
Let's apply this to a real-world scenario for you, the listener. Imagine you are sitting at your desk at work. You are looking at your computer.
Okay.
The old way of learning would be to look at the object and just think the vocabulary word. You just think computer or maybe pen.
But that does not actually help you speak, does it?
No, it really does not. Just thinking the single noun pen does not help your brain build a real sentence.
A single word is like a single brick. It is not a house. Instead, you need to train your brain by thinking in complete, tiny sentences.
So when you look at your pen, you do not just think pen. You think, this is my pen, or my pen is blue.
Yes. Or you sit at your desk and you think, I am checking my email, or I have a
And
meeting.
coffee is cold.
Exactly. You connect the English phrase directly to the real situation you're experiencing. You skip your native language completely.
But wait, let me play the role of the learner here for a second. What if I want to describe something and I genuinely do not know the English word?
That is a very common fear.
Right, like what if I am looking at a complicated spreadsheet on my screen and I just do not know the word for spreadsheet? Does the whole system break down?
That is a brilliant question. And the answer is no, it does not break down. You just describe around the missing word.
Describe around it.
Yes. If you do not know the word spreadsheet, you do not stop and switch back to your native language. You find a simply tiny sentence using words you do know.
Oh, I see. So I might think, I am looking at numbers.
Perfect. Or, this document is very long. The goal is not perfect vocabulary.
The goal is just keeping the English engine running.
Precisely. You keep the momentum going. If you stop to search for the perfect word in your native language dictionary in your head, the engine turns off.
And then you have to start it all over again. So let's talk about how to apply this all day long. We have something in our sources called the daily routine game.
I love this game. It is a way to practice this direct thinking from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep.
And it is highly effective because it attaches language learning to habits you already have. So let's walk through a typical morning.
Okay, imagine your alarm goes off. Normally you might feel tired, and your first thought is in your native language.
But if we are playing the game, we change that first thought. The alarm rings, you open your eyes, and you force your very first thought to be a tiny English sentence.
You simply think, I'm awake.
I am awake. 3 simple words. Then you start moving. You walk to the kitchen, you think, I want coffee.
You open the fridge and think, I am hungry.
It seems almost too simple, right? I am awake. I want coffee. I open the fridge. But by doing this, you are proving to your brain that English is not just a subject you study.
Right. It is not just a textbook. It is a tool you use to live your actual life.
And the beauty of this game is you can do it anywhere. You can do this while you are on the bus or commuting to work.
Yes. Imagine you are sitting on the train. You can look out the window and play the game. You might think the traffic is bad today.
Or that car is driving fast. Or if the train is full, this train is crowded, I need to stand.
And every time you make one of those tiny sentences, you are strengthening your English brain. It is like a fun game you play in your head.
Every tiny sentence is a single repetition at the brain gym. It makes the mental muscles stronger.
Exactly. So we have covered the internal process. We talked about how to generate tiny sentences inside your head.
But thinking is only half the equation. We need to transition now and talk about what is coming into your brain from the outside world.
Yes, this brings us to step 2, input. Or, as we like to call it, feeding your brain English food.
English food, I like that, because if you want your brain to produce good English, you have to feed it good English.
Right. We do not learn just by memorizing grammar rules. We learn by receiving input that we can actually understand.
So input is anything you listen to or read, but not all input is created equal, is it?
Far from it. The quality of the input matters a lot. Your brain needs to hear the natural rhythm and the music of the English language.
So what is good English food? Listening to sessions like this one is a great start, but our notes also recommend a very fun tool. Simple, repetitive pop songs.
Pop songs are incredibly effective, and the reason is repetition.
Think about a classic pop song. You hear a phrase once, your brain processes the music. You hear it a second time in the chorus. Your brain starts to recognize the words.
And by the third time the chorus plays, your brain is predicting the words before the singer even says them.
Like that classic song, I Love You Baby, and If It's Quite All Right.
Exactly. Because the song repeats, it helps your brain catch language patterns without you even trying.
You are just enjoying the music, but your brain is learning how words fit together naturally.
But this brings us to a danger zone, a very common trap that learners fall into.
Oh yes, the fast movies.
Yes. Many adult learners want to jump straight into fast Hollywood action movies without subtitles.
They want to prove they are advancing. But it is usually a bad idea. When you watch a fast movie, the native speakers talk so fast, they use slang, they link words together.
Our sources have a very funny way of describing this. To a learner, fast movie dialogue just sounds like noise. It sounds like someone saying, fish, 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 fish.
To fish, fish. That is exactly what it feels like. You cannot hear the separate words. What are you going to do? Sounds like, what you gonna do?
And if your brain is not ready for that, you feel completely lost. And when you feel lost for 2 hours, you get frustrated.
You start thinking, I am never going to learn this language. It creates a wall of anxiety.
Yes, an anxiety wall. And when that wall goes up, your brain stops learning. No English food can get in.
So watching a confusing, fast-paced movie actually blocks your learning. It is the wrong kind of input.
Exactly. So we need to lower that anxiety wall. And the best way to do that is to watch what you love.
Watch simple videos about your adult hobbies. If the content is interesting and not boring, a happy brain learns faster.
Let's use a practical example. Suppose you love cooking. Instead of a fast movie, you watch a simple English cooking video on the internet.
The visual connection there is incredibly strong. The chef holds up a tomato and a knife.
You already know what is going to happen. The chef says, I cut the tomato. And at that exact second, you watch the knife cut the tomato.
So your brain hears the words cut the tomato and sees the action at the exact same time. The visual action connects directly to the words.
You do not need to translate. The video is acting like a living dictionary.
Or let's say you love sports. You can watch football highlights. You hear the announcer say, he kicks the ball, it is a goal, and you see the player kick the ball.
The context does the hard work for your brain. And because you are interested in cooking or football, you are relaxed.
Your anxiety wall is down, you're enjoying it.
And a relaxed, happy brain absorbs language so much faster.
Okay, so to summarize where we are, we talked about thinking in tiny sentences. We talked about feeding your brain good English food with songs and hobby videos.
Now we have to move to the final step. Step 3, output.
Output. Actually speaking out loud. This is usually where the biggest excuse appears.
Oh yes, the famous excuse. I do not have anyone to talk to.
Right, people say, I want to speak, but I do not have a native speaker to practice with. I have no partner.
It is a valid feeling, but we are going to reveal a secret today. You do not need a partner. You are your own best partner.
That is right. You are your ultimate speaking partner. And I know that sounds a little funny. If I tell you to walk around talking to yourself, it might feel strange at first.
It feels unnatural initially, but it is one of the most powerful techniques you can use. You see, speaking a language is a physical motor skill.
A physical skill, like playing a sport.
Yes. Your mouth, your tongue, your lips, they are muscles. For your whole life, they have moved in your native language.
So when you speak English, you are asking those muscles to move in entirely new ways.
Exactly. And just knowing the word in your brain does not mean your mouth knows how to say it smoothly. You have to build muscle memory.
Your ears need to hear your own English voice. You need the physical practice. So how do we do this?
You simply narrate your world out loud. You can do this in your room or alone in your car.
Let's walk through an example in your room. You are alone. You look around and you describe your environment out loud using tiny sentences.
You say out loud, I am in my room. The walls are white.
My computer is black. I have a messy desk.
Notice what is happening. You are pushing the words out of your mouth. You are forcing your brain to find words through description, not translation.
You are building a crucial bridge between the brain and the mouth. Or you can do it in your car on the way home from work.
Turn off the radio. Look at the road. Say out loud, I am driving home. The car in front of me is slow.
It is a private language laboratory. And yes, you might stumble at first, but that is okay.
Now let's discuss one more highly effective habit for output. It is called the bedtime summary.
I really love this one. It is a daily wrap-up habit, and it takes less than 5 minutes.
Here is how it works. Every night, right before you go to sleep, you lie in bed, you take a deep breath, and you tell yourself a simple story about your day out loud.
You recount your day using tiny English sentences. You might look at the ceiling and say out loud, today I ate pasta. I had a busy meeting. I felt happy.
It is so simple. Today I ate pasta. I recorded an audio file. You are practicing the past tense. You are physically producing English sounds.
And because you do it right before sleep, your brain processes those language patterns all night long.
It is a peaceful way to make sure you use the language every single day.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, we need to manage expectations. We need to talk about patience.
Yes, fluency will not happen by tomorrow. It is not magic. It requires patience and small steps every day.
But you do not need to study for 5 hours a day. Just 10 or 15 minutes a day is enough.
5 minutes of the daily routine game, 5 minutes watching a hobby video, 5 minutes doing the bedtime summary.
Consistency is everything.
Huh?
But there's one final thing we have to tackle: the fear of making mistakes.
This is so important. We are terrified of making mistakes because in school, a mistake meant a bad grade. It meant failure.
We have to reframe that completely. Mistakes are actually good. Mistakes prove that you are growing.
Absolutely. If you never make a mistake, you are not learning anything new.
Let's say you are doing your bedtime summary out loud, and you accidentally say, "I is happy," but then your brain catches it.
Your ears hear your own voice and you realize it sounds wrong.
So you correct yourself out loud. You say, "Oh, wait, I am happy."
When you do that, you have not failed. You just successfully learned something. You became your own teacher.
Catching your own mistake is proof that your new English brain is working. You should celebrate that.
We want you to approach this with curiosity, not fear.
We have covered so much today, from tiny sentences to English food to being your own speaking partner. But now we want to turn the conversation back to you.
Yes, theory is great, but we want you to take real-world action.
Ask yourself right now, what do you do currently to train your brain? Are you still translating everything?
Will you start playing the daily routine game today?
Will you start talking to yourself in the shower today? Just try it. Try saying the water is warm out loud.
We really encourage you to leave your tips and your thoughts in the comments. Let us know how the bedtime summary works for you.
You are totally capable of building this new superpower. Keep taking those small steps every day.
You have got this.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you leave feeling confident and inspired. We are already excited for your next daily dose of English Unlocked. See you next time.